procedures under Trump 2.0. And what impact will this have on Indian students? We'll decode that and much more. But first, the headlines that we are tracking on Newsnight. At least 18 people have died in Himachal Pradesh's Bilaspur district after a private bus was hit by a landslide and buried under debris. Shoe thrown at CGI attacker brazens it out. CGI sister says attack a disgrace to nation, asserts must protest in constitutional manner. As battle for Bihar begins, seat-sharing talks take centre stage. Chirag Paswan meets Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Cracks appear in the NDTV bloc coalition. Congress's Udit Raj says Tejasvi is only RJD's CM face. Delhi Chief Minister bats for green crackers in the capital this Diwali. Rekha Gupta says Delhi government is a Sanatani government. All right, our top focus on Newsnight. What does it take to get a US student visa these days? Good grades? A top university? Perhaps maybe even $100,000, that's approximately rupees 89 lakh scholarship. Apparently, all these factors are not enough. Several Indian students have reportedly had their US student visa applications denied. That's under the new social media screening rules. The Washington Post has reported, and the development has sparked concerns among applicants that's over freedom of expression and the transparency of the visa procedure. Students have reportedly said that their visas were rejected by the US Embassy in New Delhi, possibly because of their social media activity, which included posts highlighting hate crimes. Case in point, an Indian student named Kaushik Raj, who had secured a $100,000 scholarship to pursue a graduate degree in journalism at Columbia University, said that he had passed every stage of the application procedure but still faced rejection. According to Raj, he had completed all the visa formalities, including the interview, but he believes that the rejection was linked to a social media activity. According to Raj, the visa application took a lot of time. The US government had briefly stopped issuing student visas, and when it resumed, there were no appointment slots available. Speaking to Washington Post, Raj claimed that he was not very active on social media and refrained from posting or publicizing his personal feelings about global issues such as Israel's war in Gaza. However, he said that in 4 years of his journalistic career, he often focused on hate crimes, which was perhaps reflected in his social media activities. Well, let's decode this further, and for more on this, Shashi Tharoor has perhaps called the Trump administration's immigration crackdown the vanishing welcome and a world retreating from openness. Listen in to this exclusive take for NDTV 24/7.
Hello, I'm Shashi Tharoor, and you know, there was a time not so long ago when the image of the US was inseparable from the idea of immigration. The Statue of Liberty, torch aloft, stood not merely as a monument but as a promise. The tired, the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free would find refuge and renewal on American shores. Well, that was in some ways part of the promise of America in the 20th century, but today it's no longer so solid, because there's a sentiment sweeping not just across America, but across the Western world, through political discourse, through public life, a hardening of not just the physical borders, but the psychological ones. Immigration is now increasingly cast in a negative light, not one of enriching a country. The US was once mythologized as a nation of immigrants. Now it finds its reputation for openness under strain. Europe, with its layered histories of colonial entanglement, post-war reconstruction, has tensions over asylum seekers, refugees, migrant labor, and the welcome is waning. And there's now a complete rejection, particularly what you might call visible immigrants, those whose skin color, dress, language, or religious practice mark them as other with a capital O. And so what you've got is the sense of difference being rejected, a Sikh turban, a hijab, a West African accent, a Latin American surname, a brown skin. These are all lightning rods for a deeper discomfort, one that speaks to people's protection of their identity, their sense of belonging, their fear of cultural difference and dilution. That's what my column is about today. It's a column that talks about the entire vanishing welcome, the way in which, in the famous thesis of David Goodhart, there is a battle between the somewheres and the anywheres, where the anywheres, mobile, educated, cosmopolitan, live in a borderless world, are comfortable anywhere, live the language of diversity, but the somewheres who are rooted in one place, one religion, one language, one culture, they are feeling alienated by the advances of the anywheres, and the somewheres might be winning. They've found their voice, and from Brexit to Trumpism, from the rise of nationalist parties across Western Europe to the open assaults on political correctness, the momentum has swung towards those who feel left behind by the influx of foreigners. So I just want to talk about all of this in my column, which I hope you'll read. The world should not, in my view, collapse into fear, but there's no doubt that it's retreating from the openness, the celebration of diversity, the welcome to immigrants that characterized much of the earlier decades.
All right, let's decode this further. Who is Kaushik Raj? What are the vetting procedures for international students if they want to apply for a visa in the United States of America? First up, let's tell you who is Kaushik Raj, 27-year-old journalist from New Delhi. And he was awarded a 100,000 scholarship to study at Columbia University. He was denied US visa despite completing all formalities here in New Delhi to secure the US visa. Moving on to the other aspects. Now, the official reason cited was perhaps lack of strong ties to India, which is what the embassy cited. The official letter which was given to Raj Kaushik stated that you have not demonstrated that you have ties that will compel you to return to your home country, that is India, after your travel to the United States of America. Well, this is what the letter stated, but what are Kaushik's belief? Kaushik believed that he did not secure a US visa because of the social media activity linked to hate crimes coverage. He again believes that journalistic posts scrutinized under US social media vetting rules, which are some of the reasons as to why he did not secure a US visa despite having a scholarship. Like I mentioned, what are the rules providing social media handles? That is for vetting if you want to apply for a US visa. Moving on to the other pointer, India saw 44.5% drop in student visas. These are the impact under Trump 2.0, and China has clearly overtaken India as the top source of international students' visas after the stringent US vetting procedures came into effect. The impact now here is in August this year, 313,000 visas were issued, which is a 19.1% drop from last year during the same month. And India especially saw 44.5% drop in student visas, which clearly led to China overtaking India as the top source of international students who are applying to study in the United States of America. And moving on to the other aspect here, now the increased visa rejection despite being accepted into prestigious colleges. These are some of the impacts which are on the Indian students here. Rejected for not proving that they have strong ties to their home country, and the global students right now might feel a chilling effect on their freedom of expression, which perhaps can lead to anxiety because lack of clear guidelines on what content is considered applicable or hostile can lead to anxiety. These are some of the factors which are in play for applying for a US visa for all the global students. Well, for more on this, we are now being joined by Dobrina M. Austin, immigration expert from Texas in the United States of America. Welcome to NDTV, ma'am. First up, what are the do's and don'ts that one should perhaps follow when applying for a US visa? Because there's a lot of confusion circulating around. Case in point, Mr. Raj Kaushik, who clearly secured a scholarship and still did not secure a US visa.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me today. So some of the don'ts, especially when it comes to the social media, I always advise clients don't erase your social media. So because that will also raise a red flag. If you've been posting, just continue business as usual. Don't deactivate your accounts. Don't erase posts. Because that will be viewed in a negative light. In terms of the social media vetting, it is a huge issue because it's so vague that nobody really knows what that officer is looking at. Basically, they were instructed to look for derogatory information or public posts that show a hostile attitude towards U.S. citizens, culture, government, institutions, or founding principles. It sounds complicated and it sounds really vague because nobody really defined what is the hostile attitude or derogatory information. Also, they're instructed to look your entire online presence, so not only what you post necessarily, but also posts that you're tagged on or posts that you've shared. So with that, basically they have green light to, if they don't like what they see for whatever reason that could be, to deny that visa.
Right.
Another one.
Right. Please continue.
No, another point that I want to make is I think this has absolutely chilling effect on journalists like Mr. Kaushik Raj. I work with journalists that are trying to secure their immigration status in the United States. With this policy, if you're a journalist, obviously you're trained to question government authority. You're trained to report on human rights violations. Whether you agree with whatever points, whatever it is that you're posting, it's irrelevant because that's your job. So now you're telling me that the U.S. government will look into these posts and judge you based on what you post, but based on, that's your job, right? So in a sense, you also have that, that basically journalists are being silenced, right? So, as a journalist, that's your job to post.
Right, Mr. Stin, because the reason given to Mr. Kaushik was insufficient ties to home country. And he clearly, in an interview to Washington Post, he clearly stated that he had not made any post against America or any post regarding Israel's war in Gaza. He was only covering the news here in India and perhaps covered the hate crimes, according to one of the reasons why he wasn't a US visa. Talk to us more about the impact of the stringent US vetting procedures for US visas for global students on the US colleges itself.
The impact is significant. We are about to see drastic decrease in the number of a number of foreign students coming to the United States. Foreign students do pay full tuition. So if it's a state school, they will probably pay double or triple that state tuition. A lot of the programs at the U.S. universities, being private or public, are actually financed by the foreign students, by the tuition the foreign students pay. That will have direct negative impact, especially on the smaller colleges. So if you don't have enough international students to pay that tuition, we will see whole programs being scrapped. We will see staff, faculty being laid off. And ultimately, some universities, depending on the size of the university, they can close down as well. So I think it has a tremendous negative impact to the U.S. Education.
Right, Ms. Houston, thank you so much for joining us here on NDTV from Texas.
Thank you.
All right, breaking news coming at this point of time. In a heart-chilling incident, a Delhi medical student has alleged that she was gang raped and blackmailed by a friend and his associates after being drugged. The accused allegedly coerced the victim by threatening to share videos recorded during the assaults. The victim has alleged that she was invited by someone she knew from her hometown to a hotel party on September 9th. That's almost a month ago. According to the police, the accused then spiked her drinks, after which she was raped by her friend who had invited her, while the other two men were recording her while this heinous crime was taking place. The latest coming in right now is that the FIR has been registered, but it was registered on October 2nd, that is after nearly a month of the alleged sexual assault and harassment taking place. According to police officials, the accused is reportedly absconding, and the police are now probing and coordinating with the authorities in Haryana to nab the accused. And well, our correspondent Shreya Ghosh is now joining me live on Newsnight. Shreya, get us up to speed on what's the latest as far as this case is concerned, because this heinous crime took place on September 9th, a month after the FIR has been registered, and the accused is still absconding.
That's right. This is an absolutely chilling trend where we are seeing perpetrators using explicit content to manipulate and silence victims. And the most highlighting factor is the FIR was lodged on October 3rd, and it's been 4 days, and the accused, Amanpreet, 20-year-old guy, he's still absconding. So this 18-year-old girl, she was a first-year medical student from Baba Saheb Ambedkar Medical University in Rohini. She was hailing from Haryana, and she filed an FIR alleging that she was drugged, sexually assaulted and blackmailed by this man who happened to be her acquaintance from Haryana, and that man took her to this hotel in Adarsh Nagar in the national capital and drugged her and sexually assaulted her, while his other associates made obscene videos and took photos of her. And after that incident, they blackmailed her that if she filed a complaint, her videos would go viral. And after that incident, that man, Amanpreet, 20-year-old man, continued to coerce her, blackmail her to meet him, and continue to harass her and sexually assault her. So after almost a month, she gained the courage to file an FIR, file a complaint, and then an FIR was registered. It took almost a month for her, because of all the trauma that she had to process and the kind of blackmailing that she had to confront with. She finally lodged a complaint, and now, the Federation of All India Medical Association has also condemned this incident and has urged Delhi police to deliver swift justice, because remember, it has been 4 days, and this accused 20-year-old man named Amanpreet is still absconding.
Right, Shreya, thanks for getting us the latest on that. All right, in a tragic incident coming in from Himachal Pradesh's Bilaspur, an entire bus got buried under debris after a landslide hit the bus. At least 18 people have lost their lives. Meanwhile, a team of NDRF, SDRF and local police have been rushed to the spot, and a massive rescue operation that has also been launched. The bus, carrying around 30 to 35 passengers, it was on its way from Haryana's Rohtak to Bilaspur. Due to heavy rain, the entire hill came crashing onto the bus. Chief Minister Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu expressed grief over the accident and directed the officials to carry out the rescue operations, which are underway as we speak.
Well, yes, this was a massive landslide which has been taken place because of the continuous rain in Himachal Pradesh. For the last 2 days, we have seen multiple alerts had been given to the multiple administration and specifically the local authorities. But this tragedy which has been taken place in district Bilaspur, we have seen when this private bus was traveling near this district Bilaspur, suddenly there was a massive landslide which has been taken place and it has already killed 18 people. 18 passengers have already lost their life. 3 people have already been rescued alive. Multiple rescue operations are already underway and they are trying to continue this rescue operation so that more lives could be saved from the this tragedy which has been taken place. As of now, we have seen the Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. He has already shown the concern and he has already extended all the help to the local administration so that this rescue operation should be continued. We have seen even this bus had already been buried under this debris when this landslide had been taken place. So let's see that how this rescue operation will be continued. But as of now, what we have seen and what we have learned from Himachal Pradesh government, around 18 people have already lost life and 3 people they were able to rescued alive from this these debris.
And well, yes, that's the news coming in. At least 18 passengers have been killed after the bus tragedy in Himachal Pradesh, Bilaspur earlier today. Prime Minister Modi has also expressed grief over the loss of lives in a landslide in Himachal Pradesh, Bilaspur district. Rescue operation is underway right now. There were 30 to 35 passengers on board the bus and at least 18 passengers were killed while 3 were rescued as a private bus that was traveling was struck by a massive landslide in Bilaspur earlier this evening. Prime Minister Modi has also expressed grief over the loss of lives and he has also announced an ex gratia of rupees 1 lakh from the PM National Relief Fund to the next of kin of each deceased and rupees 50,000 to those injured. But the visuals on the screens right now are of the rescue operations underway. And well, to talk more on this, Mukesh Agnihotri, Deputy Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, हमें join कर रहे हैं. Sir, लेटेस्ट आप क्या बता सकते हैं अभी रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन के बारे में जो अभी चल रही हैं आफ्टर 18 पैसेंजर्स की मौत हुई आफ्टर द लैंडस्लाइड?
एक्चुअली ये हिमाचल प्रदेश के बिलासपुर जिला में हादसा पेश आया है जब एक प्राइवेट बस निकल रही थी पहाड़ के पास से तो ट्रक के उस बस के ऊपर जिससे कि बस पूरी तरह दब गई और उसमें अभी तक 15 कैजुअलिटीज हुई हैं और 18 लोग मिले हैं जिसमें से 3 लोग हॉस्पिटल में भेजे गए हैं इलाज के लिए और 31 सीटर ये बस थी, छोटी बस थी और हमने इसकी मजिस्ट्रियल जांच के आदेश दिए हैं और मौके पे मैं जा रहा हूं और आधे घंटे में मैं वहां पे पहुंच जाऊंगा। एसडीआरएफ एनडीआरएफ की टीमें वहां पे लगी हैं। लोगों ने काफी मदद किया, स्थानीय लोगों ने निकालने के लिए लोगों को काफी सहयोग किया है, लेकिन अभी तक की सूचना के मुताबिक यही है कि 15 डेथ्स हुई हैं और 3 लोग बचे हैं इस हादसे में।
जी धन्यवाद अग्निहोत्री जी एनडीटीवी में ज्वाइन करने के लिए और लेटेस्ट बताने के लिए इसमें। And well, that's the news we're tracking right now. At least 18 people have been killed after a bus tragedy in Himachal Pradesh's Bilaspur district. With that, we slip into a very short break with a recap of the global events on the Israel-Hamas war. Deadly Israeli attacks continue across the Gaza Strip as the war reaches its 2-year mark and now enters its 3rd year. The latest coming in is that US President Donald Trump has again expressed optimism on progress towards a Gaza deal and says a US team just left to take part in the negotiations. The talks on the US president's plan are widely seen as the most promising yet for ending a war that has killed tens of thousands of Palestinians and devastated Gaza since the October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel that killed 1,200 people in Israel. And with that, we slip into a very short break. You are watching Newsnight with me, Raisha Sehgal.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro, the true flagship killer.
वॉल्यूम कम करेंगे? आपका पार्सल फिर से हमारे घर पे आया है।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
माँ भी हमेशा पीमाक मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी। ये आपके लिए।
मैंने कहा था ना, कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
Pmark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Now the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves and Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edapadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज का जमाना है। सबको तिल का ताड़ और राई का पहाड़ बनाना है। ऐसे में जनता के जूते के अंदर फंसा कंकड़ कौन देखे? बड़े बड़े मुद्दों के शोर में जमीन से जुड़े मुद्दे अक्सर खो जाते हैं। लेकिन देश तरक्की तब करता है जब जनता के माथे की शिकन हमारी हेडलाइंस बनती है। मैं सैयद सुहेल भारत को जीता हूं, भारत की बात बताता हूं। NDTV इंडिया पर।
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती तो NDTV सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं। उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
A global leader, defining India's moment in history, a voice shaping the future of a changing world.
हम दुनिया को भी बेहतर AI सॉल्यूशंस देने में जुटे हैं।
Catch Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th and 18th October on the NDTV network, bringing the world to India and India to the world.
What seems settled for me is unfinished business. So I rewind, I pause, I reflect, I dig until what's buried stands up to be counted. Breaking ground, not just headlines, the meaning behind them. This is Breaking Ground with me, Vedika Sood.
The front lines of Kargil, the fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones, to fighter jet cockpits, and the world's most defining interviews.
It's incredible.
He has seen history break. Live, unfiltered. 20,000 hours of live broadcasting.
Welcome to Left, Right and Center.
Hard fact. debates,
war-struck country,
hard questions,
in the Ukrainian
30 years of trust.
in the Kargil area, North Ukraine, in France, in Italy, at Srinagar, Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Vishnu Shom, only on NDTV.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years. Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power, what is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
वॉल्यूम कम करेंगे? आपका पार्सल फिर से हमारे घर पे आया है।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
माँ भी हमेशा पीमाक मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी। ये आपके लिए।
मैंने कहा था कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
BMAC, the mustard specialist since 1933.
What does the youth of Bihar want in this election? I will dissect and explain.
When it comes to elections, I crunch numbers and tell you what others miss.
Bihar elections, the what, why and how.
I read Bihar politics like no one else.
For over 4 decades now, I have had a ringside view of some of India's biggest elections. This time, I will bring to you the twists and turns of Bihar elections.
Understand the real election dynamics in Bihar. With me on Bihar Battleground.
The ultimate battle for Bihar. NDTV unites the biggest voices, unmissable debates and data discourse. Battleground Bihar on NDTV 24/7.
Pulling us into this country.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro, the true flagship killer.
Okay, joining us now is Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi. Thanks very much, sir, for speaking to us. Of course, a condemnable incident, what has happened to the Chief Justice of India. But what do you think are the factors that drove this attack?
Look, I don't think we must go into too much of psychoanalysis, because the first point I wish to make is that it is not about an individual, about Judge A, Judge B, Chief Justice X, Chief Justice Y. It is about the very institution of a third pillar of democracy. And that symbolism is very serious when you attack it at the base. So it must be condemned unequivocally, universally, without ifs and buts, without ideology, without any conditionality, because it strikes at the root of the very concept of holding this institution, above all kinds of partisan issues in politics. That's the larger issue. The second thing, Padmaja, is that it is bad enough and terrible for any human being to do it. But according to me, it's inexcusable in any manner for a lawyer to even think of doing it. See, lawyers should never identify with a cause or an issue beyond their professional, obligation. And you represent a person or an entity, and you have to stop. And that's why there are all these rules and regulations about lawyers. So I think that really compounds the felony 100 times over. I commend, I have done so in my tweets today, that, calmness under tension, under pressure is a very special trait. But as I said in my tweet, I'm not at all surprised, because Chief Justice has shown that in many other diverse situations which every day come up before his court in terms of tension, shouting, altercation, adversarial allegations, etc. So I think that in a sudden atmosphere, not to do any knee-jerk reaction, not to go off the handle, is something quite remarkable. It's easier said than done. And I think that is something to be appreciated. The last thing I want to say, apart from the humorous thing I did on my second tweet today, is to say that, look, the biggest punishment you can give such people, Padmaja, is to not give them too much attention. To ignore you is the biggest punishment for a terrorist or for a person who's a sensationalist criminal, or for a person who wants to do drama on candid camera. And that ignorance by public, by society, by the nation, ignorance doesn't mean that you don't punish them. But to ignore you is a very big punishment which should be meted out to him by everybody. Don't give him importance. Don't psychoanalyze him.
So you rightly said that this is a man who is looking for his 10 seconds of fame, and yet the commentary that we are hearing in the country right now around this entire episode is that this perhaps is a sign of the times, that there is a widespread hatred which has in some way been created in the country, and that the Chief Justice was attacked because he's a Dalit. What do you say about that?
I partly agree and partly don't agree with that. I agree that anybody who does this thing is motivated by his own self-centered, eccentric view of some issue. Clearly, here was a person who brought religion into it. At least his utterances show that. I don't know what he was thinking, what he was wanting to do, but certainly utterances show that. But I would not like to paint it that, look, I'm a Hindu shouting, another eccentric, crazy coot is shouting Buddhism, a third one is shouting Islam. It doesn't matter, because such people could have different variations of this. The real thing is that there is something which is, at the back of their mind, which is unhinged, which is irrational. And I don't think you must focus on the content that because he said so, therefore he's a Hindu radical or he's a Muslim radical, etc. I think they have to be condemned unconditionally, universally. And the part I think is right is, it is a sign of our times. Unfortunate. But our times have become very much more divisive. Our times have become very much more confrontational. Our times have become very much more, you're either black or you're white. There are no shades of grey. Real life is all about grey. Our times have become very much, if you're not with me 100%, you are my enemy. And that's a ridiculous thought, but that's the way the society is divided. So I think in that context, you are right, that it is a sign of our times, intolerance, explosions, thinking of you in black and white terms, thinking of you as a friend, as an extreme friend or an extreme enemy. They're all, binaries which are not true in real life. Real life is never binary.
Another claim being made is also that, in some way this attacker is backed by the ruling party or by the right-wing ecosystem or by the government. Do you think that this is a correct surmise?
I have never said anything like that. To say that he's backed by the government would be outlandish in that sense. And I think the government governments commit blunders. Every government does, and so has this government. But it would be blunderous beyond blunder to think that they have set up a man like this to do this. I mean, it would really... I think what is meant is that you have created an ambience of inhibition, intolerance, anger, divisiveness, distrust. Nothing to do with the government, nothing to do with this particular man. But the overall ambience is a creation in this country for the last several years. And that ambience somewhere can lead to things like that. That doesn't mean the government has set him up. But it certainly means that the government should be very careful of the ambience it creates in different situations of intolerance, of, that obsessive sense of uniformity, imposing identity, oneness. Not India should be proud to be planet Earth's most diverse spot. There is no more diverse spot on planet Earth than India. So to have an idea of just oneness in everything, oneness in thought, oneness in religion, oneness in dress, habit, smell, talk, eating, these are not concepts which are truly Indian according to me. And therefore, somewhere it reaches some unhinged, crazy coot like this person.
We were speaking to Mr. Harish Salve earlier, and in fact, he also remarked that this is not the first time that this has happened. There was, in the Supreme Court, we had Justice Gajendra Gadkar attacked earlier. He had a shoe thrown at him. And at that time also, he had said that, this man has already lost his case. I don't want him to lose his shoe. So is this kind of political spin correct? This incident, though condemnable, is not unprecedented, and in all likelihood, it has been done by a headline hunter. Then why this political spin?
No, I have said so. I'm saying it's the larger issue of a atmosphere and ambience in this country. I'm not saying that it is something which is created or triggered by a person or a government in that sense. I have said so clearly. But I do believe that there always must be not the penalty which such a person attracts, but there must be also a sense of balance and humor, which is why I tweeted that thing about Lord Denning. Imagine, look at the calmness and the composure which this Chief Justice has shown in a different context, and which Lord Denning said in that witty remark which I have tweeted. So I think that is another facet. I think too much of pomposity, too much of, overreaction is what these crazy people want. So I think you really, by ignoring him or by just, relegating him to the sidelines, you do them the biggest punishment they can imagine.
All right, Dr. Singhi, thank you very much for speaking to us on NDTV. Thanks very much, Mr. Salve, for speaking to us, because at this time, it is also important to assess what the sane voices in the country and across the world are saying. First of all, sir, how do you assess the incident, the attack on the Chief Justice of India in court? Is it a reflection of growing intolerance in society, especially towards judicial independence?
I think the Chief Justice has acted with grace. This is not the first time it has happened. It's happened in the past. I think it was Chief Justice Gajendra Gadkar, at whom a litigant had hurled a shoe. Mr. Parasaran used to always tell us this story. When that happened, of course, the security came and caught him. And Chief Justice Gajendra Gadkar only said, please restore his shoe to him. He has lost his case. I don't want him to lose a shoe also. So judges have always treated this with equanimity and grace. The problem is this man was not a litigant, he's a lawyer. And a lawyer has to conduct himself in conformity with certain basic standards. So the Bar Council has acted wisely and rightly and with alacrity in taking action. But I suppose that's where the matter must rest.
That's right. But sir, there is also a school of thought that judges in public domain are now like politicians. Whatever they do, whatever they say is up for scrutiny, whatever they, in fact, many of the cases also end up being extremely political. So the argument of people is that when you are going to make political statements, you are going to be up for scrutiny, and then you're also going to invite such reactions. What do you have to say to that?
See, what has gone wrong today, firstly, and I won't say this has gone wrong. Firstly, the judges have on their plate all kinds of litigations, and partly they have taken on all kinds of things on their plate, some of which have political overtones, religious overtones. It's a debate for a separate day whether they should be doing some of the things they do or not do. Well, that's a separate debate. So they are in public domain, but the real problem is something else. The real problem today is the social media and these channels like Bar and Bench and Law Chakra and all. They are making free and fair discourse in the court very difficult. Judges and lawyers, when they are in the course of lawyers making submissions and judges asking questions or making comments, they are in a discussion mode. And sometimes judges' comments or sometimes the lawyers' submissions in the heat of the moment may provide fodder for this kind of cheap sensationalism which the media indulges in. I mean, I've heard so many times, expressions like judges ne fatkar lagai. Now, where you read the order of the court, it only says adjourned to so-and-so day. The judge has asked a question or the judge poses some sharp issues. Those are only questions to be answered and counsel respond to it. But this, you people being present there and, all these these online channels being present there, picking up everything which a judge says, picking up everything which a lawyer says, and then making that the subject matter of public debate, I think is interfering with the process of justice. And that is something which needs to be acted out. And I'll give you the latest example. In that Wangchuk's case, the Supreme Court entertained a petition by his wife. They issued notice. That's all that has happened in court. Yes, some submissions were made by the counsel for the petitioner. Some submissions were made by the counsel for the government. The court has not taken any view on the matter. It has only issued notice. Now, that's where the news ends. Beyond that is all sensationalism. Said so-and-so said this, and so-and-so said this, and so-and-so judge said this. I mean, that has to stop someday. And I hope that's really something which we all need to address. Because it is this kind of a thing which then excites the misadventures of this kind with people who don't have the equanimity nor the maturity to accept the manner in which these comments are made and then behave in this fashion.
But should judges also be more sensitive? Is there a need for caution in the language that they use? Because at the core of this incident also lies
judges
the
have to be
claim
more
of
careful of what they
hurt
say in
religious
court.
feelings.
Lawyers always have to be more careful of what they say in court. The vocabulary of the Supreme Court has deteriorated. I have said this before and I am saying this again, but that's a matter of, again, a debate for a separate day. The kind of things which lawyers say to the judges and sometimes the kind of comments that the judges make were not something which we heard 20 years ago or 10 years ago. But anyway, that's a debate for a separate day. But I strongly hold the view that judges must be free to ask whatever question they want, say whatever they like, and a lawyer must be free to say whatever he likes without the fear of social media jumping onto his back, without the fear of these daily newsmongers jumping onto his back, taking one sentence of the lawyer or one sentence of the judge and playing it up as breaking news or some sort of... this is interfering. If we are all very cagey about what we say because some youngster sitting there working for some news channel will pick it up and blow it up, then neither will the lawyer be doing his duty nor will the judge be clearing the air.
But sir, what do you make of the commentary that we are seeing around this attack, where it is being said now that the Chief Justice was attacked only because he is a Dalit? That seems to be
the trouble.
now the overwhelming
this kind of an incident gets into the political domain and social media takes over. Then all these layers start. It's a Dalit Chief Justice, it is this. I mean, Justice Gajendra Garkar was subjected to a similar treatment. He was not from the Dalit community. So, these kind of things, this is a nonsense. There was a man whose behavior was atrocious. I call it atrocious because he's a lawyer. He should have known better, either for publicity or out of genuine anger or God knows what. He comes and flings a shoe at the Chief Justice. It's a ridiculous incident. It's the real purpose for this. The real thing which we can learn from all this is that sensationalizing comments of judges should be eschewed. Instead of learning that, we are getting into, was he a Dalit Chief Justice and that's why a shoe was hurled, or what did he say, or should we throw this man into jail, should we put him into imprisonment, should we deport him to some other country, send him to Mars, whatever. I mean, that's all a useless discussion. Why aren't we asking the real question? Why is this sensationalism being allowed, which leads to these kind of incidents?
No, and that's what.
And I remember, I believe
Because,
Mr.
well, actually,
Sibal
sir,
protested and
you
the
know,
Solicitor General protested. That this social media is creating all this problem.
no, absolutely. Any right-thinking person has protested against it, and you're absolutely right. Are we missing the woods for the trees completely, Mr. Salve? Thanks very much for bringing sanity to the discussion.
Across the country, he has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. And now, Aditya Rajkol begins a new chapter at NDTV.
Actually, I'm taking off because the stories I cover don't sit still. To bring the world to India and to take India to the world, I need to be where action is.
Aditya Rajkol, covering international affairs like no one else, only on NDTV network.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
रहमान
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
हेलो बोलिए मैडम, डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा।
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है।
मैडम एक बार को खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए तो बताओ, कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं?
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire Dabba trading scam.
What does the youth of Bihar want in this election? I will dissect and explain.
When it comes to elections, I crunch numbers and tell you what others miss.
Bihar elections, the what, why and how.
I read Bihar politics like no one else.
For over 4 decades now, I have had a ringside view of some of India's biggest elections. This time, I will bring to you the twists and turns of Bihar elections.
Understand the real election dynamics in Bihar. With me on Bihar Battleground.
The ultimate battle for Bihar. NDTV unites the biggest voices, unmissable debates and data discourse. Battleground Bihar on NDTV 24/7.
In Bihar, bahut politics hai. The year's election super final.
Well, at an event held at Jawaharlal Nehru University, President of the Chintan Research Foundation, Shishir Priyadarshi, shared his thoughts on India's global role in the coming decades. Speaking exclusively to NDTV, he laid out a vision for how India can economically, diplomatically, and intellectually as it approaches its 100th year of independence.
I'm joined here by Mr. Shishir Priyadarshi, the president of Chintan Research Foundation, and we're talking about how India is prepared for 2047 as far as the diplomacy is concerned or the new world order is concerned. You mentioned 3 points which India should be the voice of global south. Are we really prepared to take on that journey?
Look, yes. Firstly, thank you so much.
talking about 2047 and the preparedness for India, I think there'll be many factors that would have to be looked at. But yes, I did point out three important factors that India can or should do. First is we need a reform of the entire multilateral system. We are still trying to function by rules which were crafted 50, 60 years ago. You take the World Trade Organization, you take the United Nations. So we need absolutely a change, and a change which recognizes the evolved and new world order today. There's absolutely no point if we continued in that very bipolar with Europe and US-centric rules and governance. So that was the one point I made. The second point is you have to take the global south with you. India has projected itself often as the leader of the global south, and I wanted to beg to differ a bit from that. Leading a group of countries, I think the time is gone. What you now need to do is create strategies and create forums where everyone feels like an equal partner, and that is when you will have a group which not only believes in itself, but believes in the future that that group can create. And the third point I strongly believe in is that a new industrial revolution is about to come. This will be very different from the previous industrial revolutions. This will be based on greening of economy. This will be based on new technology. And I think India must be prepared to lead it. This is where inclusiveness and equitable and fairness, which will all lead to the fulfillment of development aspirations.
Coming to the current trend, tariff is hitting the headlines almost every day, and many critics of the current government, we also heard the Union Minister of External Affairs, Mr. Jaishankar, many critics feel that perhaps this US administration imposing tariff on India and then punitive actions being taken is a failure of diplomacy, while the government maintains that wait and watch, or something which Dr. Jaishankar said that we are not the fence sitters. But at least, do you think it is working in India's favor to just be patient and continue the negotiations with US?
Look, people like you and me have, the most of our information only comes from what we read in the press and media. The decision makers probably have a very large number of different issues to take into account. It's like a crossroad. You do not have just one single path leading to one single solution. You won't have only one single path leading to one single solution. You probably will need to look at many different things. While there have been critics of this, the approach that you've mentioned, but I am probably one of those who feels that maturity and the fact that we've been very restrained against the different kind of outbursts that have come about is actually a more positive way to go about it. So to that extent, only time will tell whether the critics were right or whether people like us who feel that the moderated approach was right would come about. But in either case, only one of those approaches would have worked, and I think India has chosen to take a more moderate stance.
Leading to the last question, but it will cover both the conflicts, the Russia-Ukraine conflict as well as the conflict in West Asia. We have heard and seen that how India has been facing the heat for purchasing its energy sources from Russia, and then it's perhaps the only country in Global South which is the loudest cheer for Israel, while Israel is facing all the boycott or being isolated by the Arab world, and we also maintain good relations with the Arab world. How do you see our diplomatic engagement in the current context?
Look, I think the most important that India has done very successfully is ensuring that we don't want to take sides. Don't push me into a corner which says you're either with us or against us. India is trying this strategic autonomy, which says that I can be as much of a friend to you as I can be to someone that you may not have the best of relations with. So do not hyphenate me with someone with whom you do not have a good relation. I can have an equally good economic, equally good political, equally good defense, strategic relationship with two countries. Maybe the US and Russia or US and China at the moment are good examples. I think the time has come when instead of very long historical strategic relationships, you will have much more important transactional relationships.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Well, the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves. And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edapadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज का जमाना है, सबको तिल का ताड़ और राई का पहाड़ बनाना है। ऐसे में जनता के जूते के अंदर फंसा कंकड़ कौन देखे? बड़े बड़े मुद्दों के शोर में जमीन से जुड़े मुद्दे अक्सर खो जाते हैं। लेकिन देश तरक्की तब करता है जब जनता के माथे की शिकन हमारी हेडलाइंस बनती है। मैं सैयद सुहेल भारत को जीता हूं, भारत की बात बताता हूं। NDTV इंडिया पर।
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो NDTV सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं। उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
A global leader, defining India's moment in history, a voice shaping the future of a changing world.
हम दुनिया को भी बेहतर AI सॉल्यूशंस देने में जुटे हैं।
Catch Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the NDTV World Summit 2025, 17th and 18th October on the NDTV network, bringing the world to India and India to the world.
This is an image of a new India. It's a new era of development for Mumbai and Maharashtra. The Navi Mumbai International Airport is ready to welcome flights from the country and the rest of the world. It's not just a relief for air travelers from Mumbai and Western India, but it's also a powerful symbol of India's growing strength on the global stage and the global aviation map. The Navi Mumbai Airport is not just an airport. Spread across 2,866 acres in Ulve, Navi Mumbai, this is a dream that Mumbai and Maharashtra have been imagining for the last 25 years. Finally, it's a reality with the Navi Mumbai Airport now all set.
मुंबई 2.0 नवी मुंबई की नई शुरुआत जो एयरपोर्ट से शुरू हो रही है और उसके आगे हमें एक नया ख्वाब जो हमने कई सालों से देखा अब मुकम्मल होता हुआ दिखाई दे रहा है।
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये पोटेंशियल है कि नवी मुंबई मुंबई को ओवरटेक कर सकता है।
Navi Mumbai coming in and now being an extension of Mumbai. So yes, you can call it Mumbai 2.0.
So definitely that would become a Mumbai 2.0.
मेरे ख्याल से नवी मुंबई जो है वो अब मुंबई नहीं रहेगा या मुंबई 2 हम लोग उसको बोल के विकल्प में आप देख सकते हैं।
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. This will be Mumbai 2.0.
Any development in Mumbai is a happy news.
This is one of India's most ambitious infrastructure projects, the Navi Mumbai International Airport. Mumbai's gateway for decades, the existing Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport has reached capacity and is grappling with the burden of passengers, air traffic congestion and overcrowding. The solution? The city's new global gateway, the Navi Mumbai International Airport, the wait for which is now over.
So tomorrow when we shall see the new airport also getting ready, we will have an independent city now ready to develop on its own. So as I said, housing has evolved, but here it is. The rate of growth with infrastructure falling in place will be another thing to watch out for.
मुंबई अब उन शहरों में शामिल हो गया है जहां हम देखते हैं कि लंदन और न्यूयॉर्क की तरह, टोक्यो, दुबई की तरह एक से ज़्यादा इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट होंगे. अब नवी मुंबई इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट बनकर तैयार है. एज अ मुंबईकर आपका पहला रिएक्शन क्या है?
वेल, बहुत अच्छी बात है. लाइक वी हैव बीन हियरिंग कि अब आएगा, अब आएगा, अब आएगा, बट फाइनली इट्स हियर.
आई थिंक ये पूरे देश के लिए बहुत अच्छा न्यूज़ है और मैं प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का इसके लिए खासा धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूँ.
Yeah, it's going to be good. The current wait times that we have at this airport is going to go down. So the flight delays that happen because runway available नहीं होता. So that's going to happen. So yeah, correct. So it's going to be good. It's for the better, I feel.
We are facing a lot of delays in Mumbai airport. So this will definitely resolve one, travel time, and second is the capacity issues in the old airport. Good for Mumbai's infrastructure.
We'll have more options to choose from. You know?
See, those who are flying every month, they would definitely feel the difference, I believe. So yeah, I mean it's good for Mumbai people.
ये अच्छी न्यूज़ है. हमारे देश में आबादी अभी मुंबई में जैसे जैसे बढ़ रही है. अगर 2 एयरपोर्ट होते हैं हमारे लिए तो अच्छा है. थोड़ा क्राउड मैनेजमेंट वगैरह के लिए अच्छा रहेगा.
Right now, if you cannot afford a good home house in Mumbai, I think Navi Mumbai gives you everything: clean air, better air than Mumbai, better infrastructure. Your roads, potholes are less as compared to Mumbai, so you can. आप वो भी एक देख सकते हैं रहने के लिए.
ट्रैफिक इज अ बिग चैलेंज यहाँ पे, तो वो बेटर हो जाएगा.
मेरे ख्याल से नवी मुंबई जो है वो अब मुंबई नहीं रहेगा, या मुंबई 2 हम लोग उसको बोल के विकल्प में आप देख सकते हैं.
For the last 50 years, since Navi Mumbai was being planned in the 1970s till today, Navi Mumbai is sort of considered a satellite city, a dormitory. People used to work in Mumbai but come and stay in Navi Mumbai because there were no employment opportunities. This is the first major project which can drive sizable employment into the city. Now, estimates can vary, whether it's 2 lakh jobs, 3 lakh jobs, 4 lakh jobs. But even at the base level assumption of 2 lakh jobs being created, you have a situation where a whole new city can be planned which can be self-sustaining.
Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport now handles more than 5.5 crore passengers and is operating almost to capacity. There are 2 runways here, but they intersect each other, effectively limiting operations to just 1 runway at a time. That is why planes often have to circle in the air due to air traffic congestion. The Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport handles around 1,000 flights that land and take off daily, which is beyond its design ability. Even with the new airport, Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport will continue to operate as earlier. But now, there will be 2 international airports in the Mumbai metropolitan region, which will reduce the air traffic pressure at Mumbai. Navi Mumbai International Airport is ready with its first phase, designed to handle 2 crore passengers annually. When the final phase is complete, its capacity is estimated to reach 9 crore passengers annually. Together, the 2 airports will take Mumbai's air passenger capacity to 14.5 crores a year. Not just passengers, it will also handle 3.25 million metric tons per annum of cargo, making it a powerful trading hub. The Navi Mumbai International Airport will have 2 parallel 3,700 meter long runways, which will be equipped with such modern systems that flights will operate even in very low visibility. The airport is to be developed in 5 phases. The first phase includes a terminal and a runway, while the final phase will have 4 terminals and 2 runways fully functional. Commercial flights are expected to start from here by December. After the opening of the Navi Mumbai airport, Mumbai will join the league of select cities of the world which have more than one major airport, like London, New York, and Tokyo. The emphasis here is on green energy and AI technology. The airport will rely on solar power for most of its energy needs, with a target of 47 megawatt of solar power by the final phase. The airport will also showcase its commitment to environmental protection with EV charging infrastructure and a sustainable aviation fuel storage facility. NMIA, or the Navi Mumbai International Airport, will be using technology smartly at every step from the sky to the ground. Passengers will experience completely digital journeys, AI-powered queue management systems. Technologies like DigiYatra will provide a paperless, contactless, and ultra-fast travel experience. The airport has the potential to generate around 3 lakh jobs both directly and indirectly, fostering growth and welfare. The airport has been developed under a public-private partnership with a joint venture called the NMIAL, with Adani Airports Holdings Limited having a 74% stake and the remaining 26% with Sidco. Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone of the airport on 18 February 2018. The airport has been constructed and will be operated and managed by the Adani Group in collaboration with the Maharashtra government agency Sidco.
2021 से ये शुरुआत हुआ अंडर अ न्यू अम्ब्रेला इन अ वे, राइट? और अभी हम 2025 में, तो 4 साल में हमने कितना ज़्यादा प्रोग्रेस देखा है फॉर एन एयरपोर्ट विच इज़ ओवर 1000 हेक्टर्स. तो इतने बड़े ज़मीन पे इतना ज़्यादा प्लानिंग, इतना कैपिटल इन्फ्यूजन. तो ये एयरपोर्ट मुझे लगता है कि अगर हम लोग जाएंगे, और जो मेरा इंप्रेशन भी हो रहा है जितना मैं न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ रहा हूँ, ये एक इंजीनियरिंग मार्वल